Hey guys, Tycranders here again with another video review, and this time, let me just move some stuff out of the way there. It's for the new Star Wars Force Awakens Assault Walker. So, let me bring the box in. It comes with what is called a Riot Control Stormtrooper Sergeant. If I just bring the box up a little closer, hopefully it won't go too out of focus. And there's a picture. It's really nice artwork. One thing of interest that I did see on the box cover is the Stormtrooper looks to be holding one of the older style E11 blasters from their kind of original trilogy collection from the looks of it. And another thing to note is, as far as I'm aware, these walkers do not appear in the film, because unlike the other kind of Force Awakens figures, they actually has no Force Awakens mini logo underneath the main box itself. So if I just flip it around, it has rotating guns, movable legs, a seating position, and a little information for these. This says, these mobile assault walkers operate as mechanized cavalry units storming enemy positions and running down fleeing troops. And it says a special edition Riot Controlled Stormtrooper Sergeant is included. And the other figures that they show is Darth Vader, Kylo Ren, and Finn from Jakku. And then this has the Star Wars logo dotted around the entire thing. So, putting the box aside and moving on to the Stormtrooper that you get with the actual set. So, as far as I'm aware, this guy is identical to the standard 12-inch Star Wars Hasbro, as they're being nicknamed the shampoo bottle Stormtroopers. And he's the same, pretty much the same idea as the 3 3/4 inch figures. Head is on a ball joint. Does get a good range of movement, but it is hindered by the pauldron. And as the only difference I think between this guy and the standard 12-inch figure is this pauldron part. Everything else I think is just a reuse of the same figure. So you got arms that can go up. Again, this side is hindered by the pauldron, the right side is hindered, but the left side can go all the way around. And the only other difference between the 5 points of articulated smaller figures is these guys have 2 extra points of articulation, in the sense that you can rotate the wrists. Other than that, they're the same figure, but in just slightly different scales. And legs can go into a seated position, but they don't go into a. Just bring it back there. He doesn't go into a 90-degree sitting position. It's more like a 45-degree. He doesn't need to use the seated position for when he's in the vehicle, and I'll show you that in a minute. So he does come with. Let me just put him off to the side there. 2 weapons that are intended to be used for him. So one is this new First Order style Blastech blaster, which is the Stormtrooper's standard blaster, and the other weapon, which can be stored in the vehicle itself, is this. Now I'm not entirely sure what this is. As far as I think, it's some sort of riot baton, because he's supposed to be a riot control sergeant, so I'm assuming it's some sort of baton, because it doesn't look like a blaster of any type, because there's no trigger, and it looks more like a billy club or a baton that the police would use, but more like probably a shock stick. So, and you can hold that in both hands. It does fit the left hand a little better, but you can get it in both hands, and it doesn't really fit too well. You can really just hold it with the one handle. The blaster itself does fit into his hands on both sides, and just like with the smaller 3 3/4 inch figures, it does have a peg on the side, and it connects into the side of the leg. So moving quickly on to the walker itself. Now when you do get it, there is some assembly. So all these black and white cannons need to be plugged into place. The legs need to be plugged into place. The feet need to be plugged into place. The back seat area and this kind of antenna. Sorry, this antenna needs to be plugged into place. So you got sort of movement in the legs. They're all one piece once they're plugged in. This entire front piece folds down, and there's handles that need to be plugged into place as well. This whole front piece connects down. Inside, this needs to be connected when you're putting it together. So bear with me there a second. It does tend to pop out every now and again. So, and then, as I said, the figure doesn't sit in it. He basically just stands in this big empty space, and the bottom he sinks into it, and he can just about hold the handles on it. But it does look good as just a kind of a walker. It does remind me a little of the AT-RT from the Star Wars, Clone Wars, and I think they were in Revenge of the Sith. So, as you can see, the figure just sits into it. Let me just see if there we go. The figure just sits into the walker unit, and he doesn't really hold the handles too well. I said there's storage for the baton. It goes down onto this left hand side. The figure does sit into the storage of it, but he doesn't particularly hold the handles too well. Now, what I do have, which doesn't look too bad in it as well, if I can just bring him over, is I have one of the old vintage Hasbro Stormtroopers, 12-inch Stormtroopers. And you can actually sit in this, or stand in this thing quite well as well. You just need to kind of mess around with the handles to get them to hold the handles. Pieces do tend to pop off. Sorry, this guy's actually one of the Sand Troopers, not the regular Stormtroopers. So just put this piece back in. As it said, it does tend to pop off. So he can stand fairly well in it. It doesn't seem to be too top heavy when he's standing in it. But as I said, you can stand these guys in it. And just for another comparison, I'll just bring them in there. Now these guys never really stood up too well, so you can get them to stand. You can see the size difference between the newer Hasbro 12-inch and the vintage one. That is if I'm not standing in front of the camera, so bear with me there a second. Sorry. There we go. I'll have to hold him in place because he doesn't want to stand up too well, but the older vintage Hasbro ones are slightly taller than the newer ones. And I'm just going to move the walker out of the way. And then, just for another size comparison, here is the First Order Flame Trooper next to the First Order, well, technically Stormtrooper, but Riot Control Sergeant. As you can see, they're pretty much made of the same material, very similar in construction, but both have the 7 points of articulation, and they both have the kind of solid plastic weapons. Both guys have heads on ball joints. As I said, I have plans to customize this guy, but I haven't got around to doing any of that such stuff yet, so just doing a quick review of this. Hopefully it didn't go on too long, but that's just a quick review for the Star Wars Assault Walker with Riot Control Sergeant. So if you liked the video, click like. If you want to subscribe, I said subscribe, and if you want to comment on the figure or comment on the video, please feel free to comment. I hope you liked the video, guys.